1, 2, 3.
Hello, welcome to Rock the Cash Bar. I'm Ben Mowbray.
And I'm Diane Gallagher.
Every week we pick one song and do a deep dive into the lyrics and explain the different ways they've been interpreted.
We will also discuss how the song connected to us on a personal level, focusing on all the embarrassing details.
Glad to have you here. Enjoy the show.
Let's get awkward.
Oh, okay. Good at that.
You ever been, I'm not good at parties. I never have been. I'm in my 40s now. I'm getting better at it. But like when I was a kid, I was awful. Like I was definitely like the guy who would like hang in the back and you know, say shitty things about people.
There's only two ways to do a party. You're either the people being social, or you the two bums out there just talking shit about the social people.
Yep. Hiding out on the sidelines, smoking cigarettes and making fun of people's hair.
Nice.
That's definitely what I did. I just didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know how to enter. I didn't have the confidence. I was just way too shy to put myself and my personality out there in any way. So I was just like always on the fringes.
That fear of being judged. Oof.
Yeah.
Because that group of social people who don't have that, if you make one mistake, they're coming for you.
Yeah. But I still had, I think, like as most teenagers did, I had this overwhelming desire to be the center of attention. Like I wanted to be the guy on stage. I wanted to be performing. I wanted to be in a band. I wanted to be, you know, but I couldn't. It just wasn't in me. Just way too shy, which really made me connect really completely with the band that we're talking about today, with Radiohead. Because they're just that quintessential, like they're absolutely those guys. Like they're like we want to be the center. Why do you want to be the center? Like what do you have to offer? Like when the spotlight shines on you, it's like I got nothing. Like the last time I got on stage to do open mic comedy was 5 or 6 years ago, and the second I got up on stage, I was really ambitious. I was just like, okay, I've got. You know, I had it all laid out. I think I've got like 15 good punchlines. I think I've got some great jokes. I think this is going to be the best open mic set I've ever done. And maybe as soon as I got as soon as the spotlight was on me, I was just like, I don't know why I'm here.
No, you're so good. You won Houston's Funniest. What are you talking about?
It was honestly like, I just looked into the light and just went, what the fuck?
Why am I doing this?
What is this? What drives me to do this? Why do I still need this? It's ridiculous. Yeah. I hate this about myself.
Did it go well?
No, it did. Well, it went all right. It didn't go as well as I thought it was going to. It was the typical thing where I thought I had a really good opening line and that didn't land. And I thought I had a really good closing line and that didn't land either. But everything in the middle did okay. It was weird. It was, yeah. But anyway, I only bring this up because have you seen there's a super famous clip of Radiohead in 1993 at the MTV Beach House. Have you seen it?
I think we've talked about this. Tell the story again, though. Yeah.
It's nuts. So it's 1993. Nirvana rules the world. Radiohead is this tiny little band from England that has a hit song called Creep, quite by surprise. Like Radiohead didn't really play a whole lot. They didn't like start off like playing live in bars or clubs or anything like that because they're wallflowers. They're just like me when I was a kid. You know, like all they wanted to do was they just sat in their rehearsal space and rehearsed for years. You know, and then they got a record deal based on like almost no live performances whatsoever.
That's crazy.
It's nuts.
Can you imagine coming up as a comedian with that, like not having to work the road or do stage time? You're just practicing in your living room and you get it.
It's not possible. You can't do it with comedy because comics are playing the audience. Like the audience is the comics' instruments, you know? Yeah. It's different for bands. Like Radiohead was actually able to do it. Anyway, they found themselves in 1993 at the MTV Beach House, which is just a ridiculous place for Radiohead.
That's a horrible plan.
Yeah. And it's the most bizarre thing to look at because it's the MTV Beach House. It's all these like tanned and toned, very, very young people, a lot of sick abs, bro. There's a whole lot of, you know, wild sexing going on there, I'm sure. But everybody's
there's Tom.
and then there's Tom and the boys. Tom's got this bleach blonde long hair, like he's obviously in the shadow of Kurt, and they sing "Creep," which is their most famous song, or maybe their most famous song even still today. But certainly they were a one-hit wonder at the time. But he's literally like looking around the MTV Beach House playing this incredibly somber, self-loathing song where the lyrics are literally, "I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo, what the hell am I doing here?" Like it just couldn't.
I don't belong here.
I don't belong here. I don't.
In Daytona Beach or wherever it was at the
Exactly.
time.
And they're literally like the stage is right at the front of the pool, and like it's all of these sexy kids who can't wait to fuck each other, but they got to take a few minutes out to watch these pasty English guys hate themselves. So they play "Creep," and then they play "Anyone Can Play Guitar," which has the lyric, "I'll be standing on the beach with my guitar." But that's when Tom like really fully loses it. Like he's always been kind of an awkward, like all through "Creep," but it's a controlled performance. But when he gets into "Anyone Can Play Guitar," he just absolutely loses it altogether, and it comes off more like he looks like I would look singing "Anyone Can Play Guitar" at karaoke. Like he just contorts his face. He's yelling into the camera, absolutely having a meltdown. And then before the song is even over, he just jumps into the pool and nearly drowns to death. Like he jumps into the pool, he's got the mic packs and everything like that on him, and down he goes. There's this weird kind of cutaway shot where he finally gets out, and for half a second, you just see Tom York soaked to the bone, skinny like you wouldn't believe, standing amongst all these half-naked kids, just like standing on the side of the pool, just like, "I jumped in for your fun. Did you have fun? Did you like it?"
It's like someone threw a cat in the pool.
It's so fucking weird because you go back to the early 90s when I was 13 years old, so I didn't see this when it came out. I only saw it a couple of years later because it became like a famous clip. But the first time I saw it, like I just immediately connected with that guy. Just go, "Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Like, I totally get it. You don't belong there." It's like in the early 90s, it was like if you were a rock band, you couldn't be successful. That was the wrong thing. To have a hit,
right.
Fuck, that's absolutely the lamest thing ever. To have the label force you to play the MTV Beach House, fuck you.
You're not cool anymore. You sell out.
Yeah, you could absolutely see that was what was driving him. It was just like, I have to prove to you, Ben Mowbray, guys like you at home, I know what I'm doing is not cool and it doesn't matter. But it's just amazing to me to think of like the questions they were saying, like, okay, we've got this British rock band to play the MTV Beach House. Like, okay, are they're like sexy like Mick Jagger and Keith Richards? Like, no.
Like Oasis? No.
No, no, they don't have that kind of braggadocio that Oasis does. They don't have the kind of swagger that.
Yeah.
No, they got none of that. Well, they must be really good at articulating their feelings then in a way like the Cure. No, they're really bad at that too. They just kind of hint around at what you're feeling in a way that is very pleasant for certain kinds of dorks. Are any of those dorks sitting around poolside at the MTV Beach House? No, none of those dorks. No, they're sitting at home not watching MTV. Like specifically.
Okay. This makes a lot of sense then. It's funny. Anyway. I told a couple of people we were doing Radiohead, and those couple of people, the first one was like, I just think Tom York is so overrated. We'll hear from him in a little bit. And then another person was like, "Oh, Radiohead is overrated." And I was like, you know what? We got to do Radiohead some justice, damn it. People are. I was like, this is for Ben's sister. I will not hear of it.
I think I'm a huge Radiohead fan, and so is my sister. And I think we would both tell you that, yeah, they are overrated. Like, they are absolutely overrated. Like, there's music geeks. Jack Black had a great quote about Radiohead where he's just like, I just didn't really understand them, until I listened to OK Computer, and then I realized, oh, I get it. They're the greatest band ever. And I don't know, like, I can't describe what his vocal inflections were. Like, he wasn't being sarcastic. It wasn't like, oh, they're trying to be the greatest band ever. It's just like, oh no, that's how you have to think about them. Like you can't think about them in any, like if you're thinking about them or trying to put them in any other terms, you like the only terms in which they make sense is just like, oh, they're the greatest band ever.
Okay.
Like if you try to think about them as like, I think it's easy for me to, okay. Let's do the lyrics first. Let's just do Karma Police.
Okay, let's get in.
Karma police, arrest this man, talks in nights. It buzzes like a fridge, it's like a Detuned Radio.
Karma Police, arrest this man. He talks in maths. He buzzes like a fridge. He's like a detuned radio. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like it's totally like the guy at the end of the bar is like I've been overwhelmed, in conversations. I don't know how to describe it. I think sometimes I have a pretty big personality, but I can be a shrinking violet. Like if I come across a bigger personality, it's like, I don't know. Like I get overwhelmed. Yeah.
Same. I can hold court, and the minute the bigger gesture comes in, I'm just like, you can have it.
Yeah. I'll yield the stage. But that's totally the kind of thing that, Tom York's a much, much better writer than I am, but that's exactly the way that I think about those moments. Just like, oh, this fucking guy, what can I do about it? Like, there's nothing I can do other than say something shitty under my breath or find a compatriot just like, this guy sucks.
Jesus Christ, this guy. What I like is the imagery here, and he talks about it, talking about like a lot of this is based around, which I never picked up on, like he called it like it's against like bosses in corporate America basically, and he's talking about the annoying guy that's standing around the water cooler or in the conference room, just being the loud guy, being the just the fucking guy nobody wants to hear from. That's who you hear all day long in the office, and even a boss. And he buzzes like a fridge. He's like a detuned radio. Like it's just noise, and you hate it. Not interesting. He thinks he's interesting. He's not. But I will say I have 3 misheard song lyrics in here, and I won't even say misheard. I just never knew what the fuck he was saying. When he says he's like a detuned radio, I never knew what he was saying with detuned radio. I just kind of like, I was like, what? So
it's like a mealy mouse.
He's a detuned radio. I don't know what he's saying.
Karma Police, arrest this girl. Her Hitler hairdo is making me feel ill, and we have crashed her party. And that's Radiohead to a T for me.
Yeah.
Like crashing the MTV Beach House, just crashing the whole party in general.
Yeah.
Like, here's rock and roll, having a sexy, loud, good time, and here comes Radiohead.
I love it. Hitler hairdo, my second misheard song lyric. Didn't know what he was saying there. I mumbled through that one again, but now I really wish I had known it, because Hitler hairdo, now I have a visual. Got it.
I always loved Hitler hairdo. This came out in '97. I was 17, and I absolutely loved the phrase Hitler hairdo. We used it all the time. Oh, that Hitler hairdo over there. It's not so clever because it's the straight up like the fascism of it. Just like, you have to get your hair cut exactly this way. You have to look exactly that way.
Yeah.
I was very definitely in the group of kids who just like, that's too trendy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, you're just trying way too hard to fit in.
Talk about overrated. Here's a take that no one's gonna like. I thought the Jennifer Aniston haircut was overrated. I never knew why people liked it so much. The choppiness of it, I thought it was weird. I did it and I didn't like it. So anyway.
I'm just such a natural contrarian that if everybody is doing one thing, it doesn't matter what it is, I'll be looking the other way. Like in America, I don't like watching football whatsoever. But I went down to my local bar and made them put on a hockey game a couple of nights ago. If I was still at home in Canada, I'd be like, I don't fucking want to watch another goddamn hockey game.
I'm the same way. I have a mean streak in me, and it becomes very contrarian. And I don't always really mean it. And Corbin's the exact same way. And we just really kind of just fuel each other's fires. Like, I get annoyed by, I don't even want to say it. People are going to stop listening to the podcast and be mad at me. But like, every cute girl's a witch now. And I'm like, you're not fucking witches, dude. I can't do this anymore. 5 years ago, we weren't flooded with cute white witches, okay? We are now for some reason. It is a fad. Stop it.
It's a comfort. It's a jumping off point.
And it's
I don't believe in it either.
It's hot. I get it. It's hot for dudes. That being said, no curses. Thank you. Let's move on.
This is what you'll get. This is what you'll get. This is what you'll get when you mess with us.
This is what you'll get. This is what you'll get when you mess with us. My favorite part of the song. Well, that's my second favorite part of the song. But I love it because it's just so limp. You know what I mean? Like it's not like this is what you'll get when you mess with us. Like you're gonna get a punch in the face. You're gonna get a brick through the window. We're gonna come light your house on fire. It's like, no, you're gonna get some pithy, shitty things said about you.
We're not gonna do anything to you, but our big brother Karma's gonna get you.
Exactly.
We can't hurt you, but the universe is gonna get you for that.
Yep.
My third and probably most important misheard song lyric in this, I thought it was, this is what you'll get when you mess with love. I thought this was about someone messing with love and destroying a relationship, which I thought gave it a little bit more deeper meaning, but that is not what he says.
I like that. I bet you should work that into the live show. This is what you get when you mess with love. I like it.
Yes, I thought so too. Because then I was like, maybe I did hear us, and then I thought maybe by the third or fourth time he says it, he says love instead, which I thought would be nice, but no, he always says us. So
yeah. Karma police, I've given all I can. It's not enough. I've given all I can, but we're still on the payroll. Like
that takes me back to corporate America.
Yep.
But I think he's
Absolutely.
probably way more metaphorical with that, maybe, but I don't know. Maybe he was like being a little bit literal.
It's almost like he's trying to get fired. Like he's like, it's almost like in that line, he's like, there's a difference between being like a victim of karma and being an instrument of karma.
Yeah.
Because I think that's something that young Tom York here hadn't come into his own strength. You know what I mean? Like when you wrote this when he's like 23 or 24, and you can feel kind of impotent. You can feel like you don't have any power over anybody, and you hope for, you know, the karma police to come along and do your dirty work for you.
Yeah.
And you get a little bit older and you realize it's like, oh, karma is a thing that I can take into my own hands.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like
I think it's more called revenge at that point, but yeah.
Justice.
yeah.
There's no reason you can't be righteous about it. Anyway, This is what you'll get when you mess with us. So there we are. We're back at that again. And then it gets to my absolute, like, this is.
Me too.
Oh, this is a driving home song.
Yes, that's what I wrote in my notes. This is where you sit down the window and wail, and you got to be a little bit drunk. This is the best part of the song.
Yep, you're doing like the Joker out of the back of the police car. You know,
yes.
sort of thing. Mm-hmm. For a minute there, I lost myself. Phew, for a minute. It's impossible to do without
For a minute there. You just got to wail this part.
I lost myself. I lost myself.
So good. You know me. We talked about this in the sad songs. I'm a sucker for a whale, not the animal. It's not that sound. It's yeah. I like it when people just lose it in their crying madness.
That plaintive, wide open throat. And you absolutely believe it. Like it's the sincerity that pours through there. And it like you, for a minute there, I lost myself. It was just like, well, like for a minute, like during the night, like, all right, you had a little bit to drink, or you were overcome with your emotions, and you got in a fight, or you were yelling at somebody, or you had a crying jag. It could be that. But also like over a long period of time. You know, like there's been periods of my life where you're just like, for those 3 or 4 years, I don't know, man. For a minute there, I lost myself. Like
I moved to New York. I shouldn't have. I lost myself for those few months and I had to come back and correct it. Yeah, sometimes I wrote all about this. Said I always felt like this is the I'm sorry cry from the person the karma police has cornered. I said it happens to everyone. You can get tunnel vision in a situation and get sucked into being someone you don't even recognize until a consequence happens for your actions and you see yourself in the mirror and you truly don't know how you got yourself there. And to me, that's where this like cry came from. Like if you're truly remorseful and like seeing yourself in that mirror where you were just kind of living in a fog, then the karma police needs to back the fuck off. You know, let me make up for the mistake myself. And then I went in down this whole swirl in my head about like relating karma police to cancel culture, where you're like, just back off for a second. People make mistakes.
Yeah, how do you plead not guilty to the karma police? Like the only thing you can say is, for a minute there, I lost myself. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, I get it. I understand why you're angry, but I lost control.
Yeah, I was in a headspace, and you know, talking about cancel culture and like people who deserve some redemption. I'm not saying you're serial herders, you're rapists and the people who cannot be a part of society and need to be removed. But like, God, people are so unforgiving lately, you know, and they don't give people a chance for redemption anymore.
Well, and I also think that it's built up in two ways. Like I think people think that someone's coming to cancel you or somebody's saying something about you that means that you're unredeemable. Like you can never, you know, bounce back from this. Like if they accuse you of certain things, mansplaining or gaslighting, like all these are capital sins now.
Yeah.
But those are just vocabulary terms. Like those are just words that are used to have a discussion, you know? Yeah. I had a long talk about my behavior with one of my closest friends a couple of weeks ago, and it was really, really difficult because she was right, but it was hard to confront, you know, where I was in my own head, you know? Yeah. Like I recently been going through a breakup. So like every conversation I was having with her was about a woman I had met or somebody that I kind of liked. And I was like I was just being like I was just living on that slimy side of my head where everything was about like, where's my next relationship going to come from? And she was trying to calm me down and just say, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you just need to be you. Like this idea of like, you're only going to hurt yourself and hurt other people if you're coming out of this constant pursuit mode. And it was really, really difficult for me to hear myself accused of that, because I don't want to think of myself as a creepy guy or any kind of predator or anything like that. I didn't recognize that that's, you know, I wasn't behaving that way, but I was definitely like in that headspace. And she was checking me hard to make sure that I wasn't going to, you know, go out there and do that. And
aren't you so really, grateful really for those people that'll do that?
I am now. I wasn't at the time.
Stop. No, don't make me look at myself right now.
Exactly. It's kind of gross. Radiohead was my first concert. They're the first band that I ever saw live in my life.
Fun.
September 15th, 1995 at the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion. Radiohead was opening up for REM. They were on their Monster tour. And my friend Rich Eckersley was really, really excited about seeing this band Radiohead. And this was really the first time that I'd heard of them. Like Creep was obviously a big song. I knew that one. And Fake Plastic Trees was kind of climbing the charts. So they were sort of like a band that I was aware of. You know, he had to tell me. I was like, well, who is Radiohead? He goes, oh, you know the song. And then he played Creep. And then we you know, listened to the whole, you know, the Benz album and Pablo Honey. It was just like, this is amazing. Yeah. Thinking About You is just such a great, great song. But like, I'll never forget it. Like it's the only cool thing about me when people ask like who's the first band you saw live? Like, I saw Radiohead in 1995. Yeah, I'm a dinosaur.
Mine was Vanilla Ice.
Perfect.
It was against my will. I had to go with my friend, who her other friend dropped out. But I always get excited to say it because no one expects that to be my answer.
How was he? Was he good? Where did you see him?
It was at the Summit, which is now where Lakewood Church is, for those who don't live here. And I think I have it right. I think I remember walking in, is the first time I've been in an arena like this for a concert, and I was going down the stairs and the opener was on, and I think it was Rex and Effects. That all I want to do is zoom, zoom, zoom. In that Rex and Effects, Rump Shaker. And it was woo naughty, naughty time on stage. And I was like, fuck yeah. I barely remember, because the only song I knew from him was Ice Ice Baby. I didn't know anything else. I think I was bored through most of the concert because I wasn't a fan. I didn't know anything. It was fine. It was an experience.
You must have known play that funky music, white boy.
The original. Did he have his own song? Yeah, it was good. But how was Radiohead? Like, how was it live for you?
Absolutely a mind-blowing experience for me. Like it was the first everything, you know. We put a big group of people together. Like, we caravanned up there. I think it was probably like 15 of us, you know. Like, I was 15 years old, so there must have been some 16 or 17-year-olds who were driving, and it was a good long way. Like, we were going from the southern suburbs all the way up to the northern suburbs.
Yeah.
So it was like an hour and a half drive or something like that. So we were making like the whole day of it. So we're in the car and we're smoking our stolen cigarettes, and, you know, we've got some money in our pocket because we're definitely going to be buying buying a tour T-shirt. It was just,
yeah.
I can't even begin to describe it. And it was just like Radiohead. I didn't know all that well. You know, they did the joke. It was like, okay, well, we're going to play this song for you. So they just never got in the charts. That's all. And then they play Creep to close out their set.
Yeah.
And just fantastic. So you're loving it. And then REM, comes on 20 minutes later, and it's the Monster Tour. So it's the big, the spotlight just comes on Peter Buck, and he turns around and just plays the opening chords to What's the Frequency, Kenneth? And it was just,
oh wow. Oh, that's fun. Yeah. You're making me feel giddy, because the first concert that I remember doing in that way, it was at the same venue, the Woodlands, and we lived about 45 minutes away. And my friend Catherine she was able to get her driver's license at 15 because she had a disabled mom. So she got that license, and my parents somehow were like, okay. And so it was like teenage girls 15 and under. I think I was older. I think I was actually 16, but I wasn't driving yet. And driving to the Woodlands, like our first time being like, yeah, like no parents, this is just us. I mean, we had our cigarettes. I don't remember drinking on that trip, but I didn't care, and sitting on that lawn at the Woodlands, it's like that first time you feel like super free. But we were going to see Depeche Mode.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I think it was that Songs of Faith, not Songs of, what came right after Violator?
I don't know.
It wasn't Songs of Faith and Devotion, was it? I don't remember. Anyway, it was that tour.
Not going to be in my head. We didn't drink or do drugs that night either. Like there was no pot. We didn't steal any beer or anything like that. It was just pure, unadulterated. I can't believe we're out here. I can't believe that's Michael Stipe right there in front of me. Just the pure adrenaline rush, and then the drive home from that. I mean, I don't know how I slept that night. I mean, just serious euphoria. I still, to this day, if I can, will throw myself a little celebration every September 15th. Like I just
really.
Yep, I'll save up a little bit of money like throughout the year, just like, okay, we're gonna go do something fun and weird on September 15th. I don't do it every year, but it's definitely like on my calendar of events.
So what's some examples of things that you would do?
Okay.
Never mind. Tell me later. I didn't know.
I would rent elaborate hotel suites. I would go out and have fancy dinners. One year for September 15th, it was Rob's 50th birthday. So I just decided to combine that. So we threw that big party at Grand Prize where I hired like trapeze performers and virtual reality. I hired a guy who had like a whole like virtual reality setup. Not like you had to wear the headpiece thing too. But he had like the post set. So it was like a really, really elaborate VR game. It was fun.
I remember that because I showed up to that, and it was me and Rob have the same birthday, close to it, but we're 10 years apart. And you were like, I'm so sorry, because I was turning 40 and he was turning 50, and you're like, I didn't know it was a banner year for you too. I was like, I'm fine. But I got to be on panel up there when we were talking about Rob, and I just remember my one joke was, I was like, it's so crazy, I can't believe you're 50. It was just like 7 short years ago that I planned my mom's 50th birthday party. He didn't appreciate that much.
He should have appreciated it.
It's fun.
It's all right. But I listened to this is on OK Computer, which is maybe my favorite album of all time. Like I really, like it's just I listened to OK Computer all the way through high a couple of nights ago, and it was just delightful. Like
I was gonna say, did it hit the same?
Yep. It was like I wanted to do like the big earphones and the beanbag chair and just fade into it like Led Zeppelin style in 1974. Nice. It was like, and it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful.
I want to do that. You know what? I'm going to do that. I don't know which album I'm going to pick yet, but yeah, I'm going to smoke a little, do the headphones, and be like, I am out of commission. Nobody mess with me.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh,
everybody leave me alone.
Trying to pick which album I want to do this to.
I'm floating away on the melodies. We'll take suggestions. I would love suggestions for albums to listen to well high. Nobody tell me The Wall. I don't want to hear about Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah. I know it's hard because, I know there was one album that I used to, and we've talked about this before, that I would do this. I would start it and all the way through to the end. And it was the Smiths' Louder Than Bombs. I just loved that whole album.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's my high album. Like, I don't know. I got to think about this.
I wouldn't think so either. It's funny that you bring up the Smiths. I was thinking about how soon is now. Like, there's a club if you'd like to go. You could meet somebody who really loves you, so you go and you stand on your own and you leave on your own. Like
you go home and you cry and you want to die. I love how dramatic he is there.
Yep. But it seems to me like at least the way that I think of Radiohead is like it's a whole band built around that lyric. It's like it seems like Tom York's whole personality is
those lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah. He seems like he's a little bit more fun and a little bit has a better sense of himself now that he's older. But you listen to the lyrics and the interviews in the mid 90s in his heyday, you're just like, this is one awkward motherfucker.
Which makes it great.
Which makes it authentic. Like it seems like he's being his real self. He's just like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I don't know how I'm supposed to act.
Maybe you should have worked the road a little bit, Tom. Built up some confidence.
But they did. Like afterwards, like when they first started, they didn't play. But once Creep was a hit, they their record label had them on the road for fucking ever. Like they were on the road from like 1993 until like 1997. Like 4 straight years of just constantly on in the van. Like I was reading the stories about it. It's like it's crazy. They would go from they were opening for REM and then they would do their own tour and then they started opening for Alanis Morissette, which is wow. Can you imagine opening for Alanis Morissette in like 96, 97, like on the Jagged Little Pill tour when Alanis Morissette is the biggest thing in the world. And then here come these maudlin English guys to sing to Alanis Morissette's audience. It had to be just like, what is going on here?
A sea of angry females.
Yeah. But Tom York has such strange things to say. It's like, so we got very used to playing in front of indifferent audiences.
That's funny.
They're perfectly fine with it.
Or they're just sitting there looking at you.
When's Alanis coming on?
Yeah.
Open and close with Creep. Now get out of here.
Scram. Can we talk about the video? Oh wait, unless you're about to go into something else.
No, go ahead. Yeah. I actually no, not recently. I think the last time I saw it would have been in the 90s.
It was directed by Jonathan Glazer, and he originally the video is very simple. It was a good video. It got a lot of traction. He's in the back of a car in the dark, middle of the night, going down a dirt road, and the car's, you see the headlights on the dirt road, and then suddenly there's a man and he's running from the car and he keeps looking back and he's running, keeps looking back. And you never see who the driver is. You just see Tom York in the back, just kind of watching. And you think about this song and it's Karma Police, and you're thinking, okay, this guy that's running is the bad guy and Karma is after him. Maybe this is my thoughts. I don't think this is what was meant at all. But then at the end of the video, the guy stops running and he turns around and he has his hands behind his back and he lights a match and he throws it down and there's a trail of gasoline from the car to him and he sets the car on fire. Which is really interesting because I thought, oh, plot twist, either the person chasing him down was the bad guy and he was innocent, Or, and this is where my mind's just going everywhere, he was the bad guy, but he turns around and blows up the person in a message that karma doesn't exist and the bad guy's always going to win.
Well, that's bleak.
I know. Like, does karma even exist? Because you thought you had him and he's like, nah, I'm still going to win. Which was fun. It's just an idea that I thought was fun. Funny thing about the video is that Jonathan Glazer had this original like car down the dark road idea for a Marilyn Manson video, for a Marilyn Manson song, and Marilyn didn't like it, and so he brought the idea to Radiohead, and then they kind of tweaked it, and that's where it came. Radiohead was more receptive to it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. He had watched that movie Lost Highway and kind of got inspired by it, and that's where the whole thing kind of started.
That makes sense. It kind of reminds me of that scene in the movie Memento, where just like it flash cuts to Guy Pearce like running after a guy. It's like, okay, what am I doing? I'm chasing that guy. And then the guy shoots him like, oh no,
he's chasing me. Oh, I haven't seen Memento in so long. So I was so obsessed with that movie. Back in the days of like VHS, I had it on VHS, and I got out tons of scraps of piece of paper. I cut them out and I stopped every scene and I wrote down the scene. And then at the end, backwards. I put it together like a puzzle. I put it together in chronological order. I'm like, this is what happened to the guy.
Yeah.
So nerdy. I spent a whole day on this. But I was like, I have to know the chronological order of what happened in this movie.
That movie is very much like OK Computer to me. Like the first time I saw Memento, I was just like, okay, I immediately have to watch it again. Like once you learn the twist ending, you're just like, there's no way that works. There's no fucking way that adds up. Like I gotta watch it again. Like it adds up. I don't know how he did it, but it works.
Best day of my life. Putting together puzzles like that. It was so good. So like gratifying to do that. I love that movie though. Man, I liked Guy Pearce a whole lot.
There's a lot to like with Guy Pearce.
The Count of Monte Cristo, he was hot. Like, just a huge fan.
LA Confidential.
Yes.
You escaped the Memento room.
Love him.
We used to listen to Radiohead albums like just all the way through, over and over and over again, just driving around suburbia, just like 16, 17 years old, not a damn thing to do. You know, like Friday, Saturday, we're not going to parties. We're not invited. Like all we did was drive from park to park, smoking cigarettes, occasionally stealing beer, and listening to Radiohead over and over and over.
The park where my neighborhood is one of them, because that's a big teenage hang. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All of the parks, every single one of those parks.
You know where the kids in my town hang out now? The Sonic, the teenagers. Yeah.
That was a
thing.
Yeah, we would do, because we would do like the drag between Sonic. There was a little gas station that's not there anymore, but the guy who worked the late night shift did not give a fuck about IDing you for anything.
Great.
It was wonderful.
Every teenage group knew where that guy was.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, our guy, they were Asian, and we just had to tip them. Like basically, like, we'll give you more money if you let us have this beer, and they're like, yeah, sure. Yeah.
That never occurred to us to try that. No.
Just try to give them money. Bribes didn't occur to you?
No. We would send in Craig because he had a beard. He had a full beard even at 17. So we figured he had the best chance at it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't 100% successful unless this one guy was working, and then he just went, there you go.
Whatever. Get out of here.
He was big and fat, and I think he had emphysema, and he reeked of cigarettes even worse than we did. I just was really, all right, you don't have a good day now. Like he couldn't get up from behind the counter. I think that was the thing. Like he just we probably could have just like grabbed the beer, the cigarettes or whatever, just run out. He's not going to chase us.
He's like, what am I do? Chase you? Oh no, 911. I don't care about this place. I don't care about anything.
Yeah. Oh, no. Do I want to chase those kids, or do I want to make their $5? I'll just take their $5.
Karma will take care of them if they get out of line.
Exactly. I spent so much time with Radiohead. They have a song called "Thinking About You" that's on Pablo Honey, I think.
Okay.
That it's acoustic. It's not like a great Radiohead song, but it just means so much to me. Because it's just I don't know. It makes me think of like I guess when I was first listening to that song at 15 or 16, I guess I was very similar to the young believers, watching cute Justin Bieber play his acoustic guitar on the edge of his bed, singing Just to You on YouTube. Like that was definitely the way that Tom York was soothing my romantic soul even then,
Yeah.
It's like, there's the women that I like that won't pay any attention to me, and I don't know how to talk to them, and I don't know what to do. Tom will make it better.
No.
Tom always makes it better.
I'm glad Tom was there for you during those times.
Me too. Thanks, Tom.
Did you know what their original name was before it was Radiohead?
On a Friday?
On a Friday.
Yeah.
Do you know why they switched it to Radiohead or what that is?
The Talking Heads have a song called Radiohead. Yeah.
I listened to it today. I did not know those things. I wonder why they didn't say why they switched. They were just like, oh, I like that better. Like, I don't know.
On a Friday is a weird, it's not going to look good on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
How do you, how does it break down in the language? We're going to go see On a Friday. When on a Friday? Like, it's just one of those weird.
That's probably exactly what it was.
Not quite right. That smacks to me of like the label. It's like, you guys are a great band, but that name has got to go.
Yeah. That's confusing to the people reading the poster.
Exactly.
I want to read guitarist Ed O'Brien said in an interview in Humo magazine, Humo, I don't know. When someone in the band behaved like an asshole, one of the others always said, the karma police is going to get you. I suppose it's all rubbish that your destiny depends on your deeds in a previous life, but you have to trust something. I disagree, but that's kind of like, it turns out that was something they always said to each other within the band. When somebody was acting like a jerk or doing something, they're like, karma police is going to get you.
Mm-hmm. It's going to come back around.
Yeah, wrote a whole song about it.
Tour bus justice.
I just don't like the idea of you have to trust something. I'm such a borderline nihilist most of the time, and like people are like, well, you have to believe in something, and I'm like, you don't actually, and that's where the joy in life lives, when you let that go. But but I agree, that's rubbish that your destiny depends on your deeds in a previous life. And I'm like, that's bullshit. We get a reset. Like, if we are living multiple lives, do not punish me for the situation that I grew up in my past life. We're products of our environment and what happened to us and all this stuff. And I'm like, no. Death is a reset. Do not punish me in this life for something I didn't even know what I did back then. I don't like that.
And it could have been a completely different being. Like, you can't punish me for the things I did when I was a cow. I was a cow, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Knocking over fences and pooping on things was my bailiwick. That was my assignment.
Exactly. If I was a serial killer, maybe I was dropped on my head as a baby in that life and it gave me brain damage and I never functioned correctly. That was not my fault. This is a reset. I don't like that. I don't like that cosmic idea of paying for sins in a previous life. That's not fair.
I don't either. I don't
Hard
know.
Stance on that.
Hard stance on it.
Hard stance on that.
I just want to get into the next one and start paying for the things that I did in this one. That would make me feel better, I think. Get into the next life and say, okay, I understand. That Ben guy did a lot of things wrong, but this new person is going to be different.
I'd like to at least know the Cliff's notes of what I did wrong in the previous life that I can work on. Don't just have me going at it blind.
Yeah, that seems totally unfair.
Yeah, fuck that. Fuck that whole idea. Not a fan. Is it time to see what snarky ass Jeremy has to say about Radiohead?
He doesn't like Radiohead at all, does he?
He had a funny thing to say about it, because he was like working in a record store when they hit their fame, and so every single person that came in, and he was like, just had a tood about it.
Yeah, enough already. I could see that. I could definitely see that.
He said, yeah, bad attitude, lots of piercings.
Oh, sure.
Well, I'll tell you after. Let's watch Jeremy, and then I'm going to tell you after.
Hey friends, welcome to a heavily unknown supergroup edition, where this week we try to connect Radiohead to tinted windows. And while we could use that band's unbelievably overrated singer Tom York, Let's instead look at Radiohead drummer Phil Selway and guitarist Ed O'Brien, who in 2001 would contribute to the first Seven Worlds Collide album, a supergroup conceived by former Crowd House frontman Neil Finn that also featured Eddie Vedder and Johnny Marr. And while Vedder did not return for the group's second recording in 2009, the rest of the band filled his role with, well, basically all of Wilco, including singer Jeff Tweedy and drummer Glenn Cochi. In Wilco, Cochi was the replacement for original drummer Ken Coomer, who'd grow on to join his own odd supergroup, Swag. That band was conceived by members of the Mavericks and Sixpence None the Richer, and also included bassist Tom Peterson. Pearson would spend most of his career rounding out the rhythm section in Cheap Trick alongside Bunny Carlos, the drummer of Tinted Windows. So this week in a supergroup bonanza, we went Seven Worlds Collide to Swag to Tinted Windows. God, Radiohead's overrated. I mean, back to Diane and Ben.
You just had to do it.
I can totally understand why record store guy would be sick of Radiohead, because it would have been little dipshit teenagers like me walking in thinking you're buying like the greatest band who's ever existed. You know, like they're super popular. They're incredibly famous. Like it's prog rock. It's Pink Floyd. Like it sounds new to you because you're 15.
Oh, it makes me laugh.
Definitely see Sixpence None the Richer. I haven't heard that name in 1,000 years.
And the Mavericks. That was bizarre.
I can't remember Sixpence None the Richer's big hit.
Kiss me,
like I just remember.
Kiss me.
Oh, is that them? Under the moon.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Out on the deadly shows.
That was
No,
good.
I don't know the lyrics to that one. I just know the melody. Yeah, that makes me want to dance.
Jeremy is in town next week. We're gonna record him, and he wants to make fucking sure he's gonna hang out with you with this time.
Yeah. I was texting with him. We got it all set up.
Okay, good. I went in. What was happening? Where are we going?
Monday we're coming to Grand Prix. So I'll be done at 9, so we can you can come in and finish up the shift, and then we can wander around the town after that.
Okay, I'm in. That sounds fun.
Can you do a late night on a Monday?
Huh?
Can you do a late night on a Monday?
Yeah, I'll try to nap and hydrate and drink a Red Bull or something. So, Carly, I'm sorry there was so much shitting on your band.
we weren't shitting on it. I love them. I unabashedly love them. I totally understand why other people might not like them, but I love them completely.
Yes. But now it's time to draw the next Patreon for March. And I promise listeners, there's only one more family member of Ben's in this box. Let's see if we draw his name. All right, let's see. Dig, swirl, swirl, swirl. Who is picking a song? It's our newest Patreon, William T-Well, or Jabberwocky, or whatever. He's been very active on the Patreon page. He's always asking questions. He's very much into it. So I'm really happy that I drew his name. So he's going to get to choose a song for us to cover in March.
Excellent. Thank you.
Good for him. All right. So like we said, next week, Jeremy is in town. He will be here. I don't know if we're going to record here at your house. It might make more sense at your house if Jeremy's in town. So we'll figure that out. And he wants to talk about a song called Late Century Dream by Superchunk. He says it's one of those that has lyrics that he didn't understand when he was younger, but now that he's older, he understands it. So that's fun.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. I remember the band Superchunk, but I never listened to the music. So this will be a whole new thing for me. So I'm excited. I like when that happens.
You're expanding your horizons.
I know. I always am on this podcast.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be a good defense for you when the karma police come for you. Wait, I'm not done expanding my horizons.
I understand. All right. Till next week.
Oh.
1, 2, 3.
Rock the Cash Bar is produced by Diane Gallagher, music by Chuck Savage and Eddie Hawkins. Special thank you to Jeremy Essig for 6 Degrees and to Sara Wessling for the Guilty Pleasures vocals. Our website is rockthecashbarpodcast.com, and there you can find links to our Spotify playlist and to our Patreon. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.